When Flash Harry decided it was meant to be just a one-off, but it was so popular from his first performance in Lurgan Town Hall that it's still going, and it's still going strong. Took him all the way to the blooming Albert Hall in London. Flash Harry is in the Millennium Forum tomorrow, but first up he's with me live with his guitarist Stevie in studio. Mr. Flash Harry.
This thing I call love, well I can't handle it. This thing I call love, well I get around to it. Ain't ready, crazy little thing called love. This thing I call love, it cries, it's cradle all night, it swings, it jives, shakes all over like a jellyfish. You got like a crazy little thing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. She gave me hot cold fever. She leave me in a cool sweat. Gotta be cool. I relax. I get help. I get it on my tracks. Take a back seat and hitchhike. I take a long ride on my motorbike until ready. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love.
Well, we've all tried it with a D chord, but I think there are very few men who can do the full track on an acoustic guitar. Stevie there on guitar, Flash Harry, and Harry Hamilton, as we would call him in Lurgan. Good afternoon to you.
Mark, how are you?
Good to have you up here, man. I've been talking about you for a while. Big gig. Did you ever see it going like... Because I have to say, as a kid in Lurgan, we thought, who's the madman in the yellow jacket? Jeepers, nobody thought it would go where it went.
Certainly didn't think it would go as long as this, or to go to the sort of heights that it's achieved. Really, it was just we were just an ordinary gig and band, wanted to play music and celebrate the music of Queen, and it's so popular. I mean, Queen themselves are hugely popular, so you're leaning on an open door to a certain extent. But then, we just love being on stage. We love playing live music. And
was it a titter at the start? I mean, Lurgan Town Hall. Come on, boys, you get up for. Was it a laugh or what?
It was really, we got license holders, so you could bring in your own drinks. There wasn't a bar or anything like that, so we had a lot of drunk people there. But it was a great night. It was electric. It really was. We didn't know what to expect, and we just went out and turned all the amps up to 11 and gave it as much as we could, and great time.
Yeah, the wee handlebar and stuff. It does know. Yeah. See, I'm lapsing into Lurgan accent there, Harry, because in Lurgan you'd be Harry, by the way. But I mean, you look like him. You definitely do. It helps, doesn't it?
I think you do resemble him. Certainly, when you get on, you put the yellow jacket and the whole bit on it. You have that on stage. Look. Well, I wouldn't think I resemble him that much. I remember playing in the Queen fan club convention, and there's a band from Brazil. And this guy can't speak a word of English, but he sings he's learnt all the songs just off the records in the video, and he's very, very good, and he looks so much like him. And really, there's a picture of me and him together now. He looks like Freddie Mercury, and I look like some sort of truck driver.
No, man, it's a good thing, and the band look fantastic as well. I mean, you've orchestrated this over the years. I mean, you've had Derry connections in Donegal, and the choirs have done that. But the Albert Hall in London, I mean, it got to those kind of dizzy heights, and there's still huge demand for this.
It is. I mean, Queen, they're a global act. They are really. I mean, you can see that with the success of We Will Rock You. You can see that with the, how that's sold all over the world, and Queen themselves have sold all over the world, and they're going 40 years themselves. So it is a huge act to be emulating, and it's got a huge following. So
I haven't seen the act in a lot of years. You are a very softly spoken fella. I know you're dipped your toe into the politics and all the rest. I'm assuming, Stevie, when it's showtime, this man goes a bit bucked off, does he?
Turns into a monster.
In charge of monster.
He does. There's no doubt about that.
There is that sort of side. I mean, I come from a showbiz family, and there is that. It's a performance, and I enjoy music. Don't get me wrong. It's not that much of a performance. I enjoy being on stage, but certainly once the lights go down, the music starts, and you go on, it is really a performance, and you get fired up bad. Obviously the audience is reacting too. But if you get on like that in real life, they think you're some sort of crazy person.
But there'll be guys all over the world.
All the time.
There'll be guys doing it all over the world. But you actually were so well thought of by Freddie's old band that they put you at the front of the band in one stage.
It was Queen Fan Club convention. They wanted to get Freddie's original band, a band called Ibex, back together, and they hadn't performed in a while, and they thought, well, okay, if we come back, who's going to take Freddie's
place. So then they asked me would I step in, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience to do because, first of all, there was no Queen music because it was representing a time before Queen, so it was just cover versions. It was all Led Zeppelin stuff, and they sent me a tape of Freddie singing from a bar or whatever, and this is going back to 69 or so before when he was in this band, because Queen started I think 71, but it was 69, 70, that sort of time, and they were able to tell me old stories, and it was great to be able to perform with these guys, and they'd started out with Freddie. And it was like you got into the inner circle to a certain extent. And when we played the Albert Hall, they opened. We brought Ibex along to open for us. So there's been a good connection and that sort of, because you meet obviously musicians and other friends of people who Freddie had that at that time.
You never met him? I know that. I mean, all the old cliches, flamboyant lords and that. Do you think you would have liked him? Could you keep up with
so. I know, but I think it would have been. I mean, I spent a lot of time, or a bit of time with Seamus or Jim Hutton, in Carlow. He was his partner,
his long-standing Irish partner, of course.
His Irish partner, yes, yeah. And he lived there for a lot of years himself. So when we were down, that's where Jim would come along.
Jim was his gardener, isn't he?
He was a gardener originally, but he would then obviously sit and say, Freddie, Freddie wouldn't have been the way he was on stage. It was a performance, and the whole reason he even had the half mic stand and all is just to have something to hide behind. Because he was look, what do you do with your hands when you stand singing? And the next thing, the mic stand collapsed one day when they were playing with Ibex, and then he just says, well, I like this because this gives me something to do and I can work with the hands, and that's the reason that came about. But that's a shyness as well that he had. He wasn't the same sort of extrovert in private life as he was on stage.
Powerful. Fellas, really appreciate you've travelled a long way just to be with us here today. I really, really appreciate that. And you're travelling again tonight, and then back to Derry tomorrow. And the full pelt gig tomorrow night in the Forum.
Is in the Millennium, yeah. I mean, it's a lovely venue.
How sweet is it?
We've played many years. And Derry went with the old Rialto as well. We played the Rialto, yes. And so it's been a privilege to come up here. I mean, we tell people to come along because you'll enjoy the show. I mean, you don't realise how much of the Queen stuff that you know, and it's a good night out.
What's the lesson? Rock and roll and politics do mix, can't mix, will never mix. What's the lesson? You stood famous, and there was a documentary made about
I really don't know. I mean, it is nice for people to see that you have another side of your personality. Of course. And it is that. I think it should be for people in all walks of life, can be involved in politics or concerned about what's going on in our environment and concerned about how our country's being managed.
Stevie, I hope you just give him a good ribbon in the band about over politics.
Enough said.
Enough said.
Yeah, I certainly do. I do get it a lot, and it's okay. You get the name recognition from one side, but the other side of it is that it can be a serious business, and I'm passionate about it.
Well, there are people here, Lass. I mean, I know you were playing the Earhart and Gallion, and people saying they met you, and all saying all sorts of nice stuff online here about you. So,
that was
the music is the
festival,
bottom line.
Recently,
Fellas, our time is a bit short. I wish we had half an hour, Harry, because there's plenty of stuff I'd love to talk to you about. I'm delighted you're up today, and I really appreciate you guesting for us. We've got another tune. This man is a serious talent on acoustic guitar. What have we got, Harry?
We're going to Days of Our Lives, I believe.
Days of Our Lives.
Acoustic before. This is the first time we've tried this one.
I know Radio Gaga. Right? I know we've got the cliches out of the road here for live and studio. Once again, folks, Stevie's playing a guitar. These guys are in the Forum tomorrow night. Box office 264455. It's Flash Harry.
Sometimes I get the feeling I was back in the old days, long ago, when we were kids, when we were young. Things seemed so perfect, Days were endless, we were crazy, we were young. Sun was always shining, we just lived for fun. Sometimes it seems like lately, I just don't know. The rest of my life's been just a show. Those were the days of our lives. Bad things in life were so few. Days are all gone now, but one thing is true. When I look and I find I still love you. You can't turn back the clock, you can't turn back the time. Ain't that a shame? I'd like to go back one time on a roller coaster ride. Life's just a game. No use in sitting and thinking of what you did. when you can lay back, enjoy it through your kids. Sometimes it seems like lately, I just don't know. Better sit back and go with the flow. 'Cause these are the days of our lives. They're gone in the swiftness of time. Days are all gone now, but one thing is true. When I look and I find I still love you.
Fellas, that is really, really good and beautiful harmonies. I might have to get you to play out in a wee second. We will rock you if you could. I don't know if you can do that without a big drum kit. Stevie, if you can get a drum kit centred to that acoustic guitar, I will be mightily impressed. Flash Harry is in the Forum tomorrow night. Harry, do you want the last 2 minutes?
I'll go try a wee bit of Fat Bottom Girls here.
The Fat Bottom Girls were playing out. Yes, I remember that first came out. The shock of it. The record cover. Do you remember the record cover? Enough said. Live in studio, Flash Harry. I'll see you on Monday, folks. Have a great weekend.
I was just a skinny lad, never knew no good from bad, but I knew life before I left my nursery. Left alone with Big Fat Betty, she was such a naughty nanny. This big woman, you make a bad boy out of me.